The state Supreme Court rules that Initiative 747 is unconstitutional. Patients with group health on the west side can already get online with their doctors through email. Washington's governor is blowing off their authority with her decision to approve a new wind farm project. If you'd like more information on how to keep your kids safe from internet predators, go to netsmart.org or log on to CAP or KVUE TV and we'll provide the link there for you. We're broadcasting live from the Yakima Walmart. Tomorrow from 4 until 6, we'll be broadcasting live from the Pasco Walmarts. Now, if you belong to that 4% of drivers in Washington who do not buckle up, you just better not drive at night. Kevin, that gets us up to date.
Live from Yakima and the Tri-Cities, CAP KVUE Local News at 6 starts right now.
I'm Mike Baumelli.
And I'm Dana Cowley. The Benton County Commissioners met with county employees today to discuss a growing mold problem in their Kennewick Annex. Commissioners say they have a plan to improve the air quality in the building. Students at Outlook Elementary will be drinking water from bottles until the repairs are finished. Over the break, tests showed high levels of nitrate. Nitrates are bad for young children and pregnant women. Crews dug a new well last week. Well, I don't like to make predictions, but I think it's going to be more than 114% after tonight.
It sounds like it for sure.
Corey joins us with the evening forecast, and he tells us about a big snowstorm coming to the Cascades. Yakima police may soon get a lot of money to fight car thefts. $10 from each traffic ticket in the state of Washington will be used to form the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority. That plans to give police departments across the state up to $12 million over the next 2 years. Agencies can use that money to buy surveillance cameras and bait cars. Police hope it will improve Yakima's ranking on the list of places with the most stolen cars.
For surveillance equipment.
Fewer cars were stolen in Yakima last year than the year before. Car thefts all across the state also went down as well. Up next on CAP KVUE Local News at 6, a Yakima man is charged with second-degree murder. Where the judge set bail and when the trial is set. Court documents say Mark Huey confessed to killing Charles Palmer on New Year's Eve. Today, Huey was charged with second-degree murder. His bail is set at $1 million. His court date is coming up in late February. Charles Palmer was found dead in his Cascade Loop home last week. Police say Palmer was tied up, gagged, and stabbed in the back of the head. Huey told police that Palmer was making aggressive sexual advances toward him and that he acted in self-defense. He says he stabbed Palmer accidentally and then tried to make it look like a robbery. Harsh night to be a homeless person out on the street tonight.
Yes, partly cloudy skies. I like that. Thanks, Corey.
Coming up in sports, the Seahawks continue their playoff run on the road, and we're going to tell you why that might be a bit of an issue.
That
right, go
just
Kings.
went final.
All right, thanks, Chris. Corey has a final look at the forecast in a moment.
Richland celebrates its 50th, how it's grown over the years, and how you can join in the celebration. It's hard to believe, but 50 years has come and gone for the city of Richland.
It sure has.
I know somebody who's just recently moved to Richland from the west side, and they say it's the new Bellevue.
There you go. All right, thanks, Corey. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your local news at 6:30 is still ahead.
Of course, you can find us 24 hours a day. Just click on the web, CAP or KVUE.com. Salah Mansour is an average Bahraini citizen. At age 29, he owns a 6-bedroom house, a car, and he has more disposable income than most Americans. But he spends half of his salary on food. Prices here are 3 and 4 times higher than they are in the United States. Salah enjoys shopping in the Old World marketplace called the souk. He buys cabbage and squash from South America. The apples are from Iran. How much, he asks. Half a dinar. The apple is the most expensive item he buys here. Meat is next on his list. Lamb and beef cost about $1.80 per pound, so this purchase doesn't cut too deeply into his pocketbook. But Salah still needs to go to a modern grocery store to finish his list.
Well, I look for American product, you know, because some of American product was very good.
In the produce section, he finds a better apple.
When I usually go to supermarket, you know, when I look the Washington, Washington product, I like to buy some of these, you know. My favorite is yellow apples, you know. Usually I take half of the yellow apples and half of red apples.
And Washington apple exporters can take the profits back to Yakima as they continue to ship goods to the Gulf. So while we were in Beijing, we took a bit of a risk. Posing as tourists, we took our camera inside a government-operated gun club. This is the China North International Shooting Range in Beijing.
It's a private gun club operated by the Chinese military, but the public is allowed to practice shoot on the target range. Once inside the security gates, look at the selection of weapons you can fire. There is a formidable arsenal here. We could have fired a rocket launcher, but we opted for a less conspicuous handgun, a Chinese imitation of a 9mm Glock. Just like squeezing off the trigger, President Clinton is trying to squeeze off Chinese gun imports. It's a move that's aimed at curbing national violence, but it might ricochet, having a deadly effect on trade. Our escorts watched carefully over our shoulders, and in this communist country, we had to wonder who was looking over theirs. After firing off a few shots along with our questions, they felt we'd adequately hit the mark on both targets, and we were gestured to leave, leaving with the impression that the Chinese are very proud of their ability to both make and trade firearms. Now, we were instructed not to talk to people on camera to avoid the wrath of the Chinese military, but the people that we spoke with off camera were, for the most part, unaware of the gun ban, and no one told us that they would boycott Washington apples because the U.S. is shooting down Chinese weaponry. 238,000 boxes arrived in Japan earlier this week. They came by boat, but a special reserve 50 boxes came over yesterday by plane. After 23 years of trade barriers, the first air-freighted shipments attract attention as well as security. These Japanese fruit inspectors are looking carefully for any sign of pests or disease. After thorough scrutiny, the fruit was approved.
There's no problem. Didn't find anything.
Now, fruit is a part of the Japanese diet, but they only eat about half of the apples that Americans eat. This is primarily because of cost. Up until now, a Japanese apple cost about $20 a piece. Dozens of Japanese stood in line for an hour today, waiting to take their first bite of a Washington apple.
This is the first, and I'm looking forward to having a taste of home.
Here, the taste is put to the test. The glamorous Ginza shopping plaza in downtown Tokyo came alive with excitement when the Japanese palates approved of the product.
Something they could, if they're in a hurry, they could throw one in their car and eat it on the way to work. They could eat it on the subway. You can walk down the street eating an apple. What a concept.
Apple exporters hope this introduction will serve as an appetizer, whetting the appetite for more Washington apples that can be shipped toward Tokyo.